Hey everyone, welcome back to Leosophy. This time, instead of answering 3 questions, I got a question the other day that really is probably just going to be a whole video under an umbrella term. Here, this is the question. It's sort of a 3-part question as far as that goes. It's, what do you do for a living? What is your career? Are you striving towards any other achievement in that career? So that's sort of it just kind of evolved into more of an about me kind of video. So career is or what I do for a living is a broader term because it bleeds into the career element too. Okay, so what do I do for a living? I am a writer. I mostly do copy, commercial scripts, landing pages, slogans, taglines, things like that. I also, the thing I'd rather make, all my income doing, even though I love writing copy as far as that goes, I really do, but I like writing fiction as well. Novels, poetry, prose, nonfiction, the screenplays, the works. I have some poems submitted to the New Yorker. Don't know if they'll get published later this year or not. I've got a novel available on Amazon. I'll have the link below on that. Got another novel that, if this one does well, I'll end up posting it because it's set in the same universe. And let's see, I've got a bunch of screenplays in the works right now, including a series, which I'm also in talks about. So yeah, writing in general. I've written for a number of other places. I can't think of a better word for it. I've written for a bunch of periodicals on the internet, for example, Cracked, Dirt, etc. But if I remember right, I think I got a Garden and Gun article somewhere too. Probably going to have an article for Entrepreneur Magazine out pretty soon. That's the thing. It's kind of hard to like catalog everything. Like there's just a bunch of stuff. But that's the main thing. I love to write. Even if I was on a desert island, I would still write because it's something I enjoy doing. In every single form too. I meet a lot of people who are sort of specialists. Well, same thing with copy. Really, you do better telling clients that you're a specialist, but it's just so boring to me. Like I'd go stir crazy if I just did one thing. And same thing with writing. I've also ghostwritten, which you're not supposed to talk about because you can't say what you've ghostwritten. Here's a fun little fact for you though: 70% of nonfiction books are ghostwritten. So next time you're perusing the nonfiction section, just bear that in mind. Like pretty much none of those autobiographies are really auto, and a lot of those, especially you see those books written by like newscasters and things like that. It's like they're on TV literally all day. They're on TV from like 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. or vice versa, and they got a book that comes out every few months. Come on. So yeah, a lot of nonfiction. As for let me see, what was the third part of that question? Striving towards any other achievements in that career? Yeah, absolutely. Everything that I write, I always think it's going to be, and you're always attached to your writing, so they're like brain children. You always think, well, this is going to be the one, and this is going to be like the household name, and really that's what happens every time I write something. So I've got a number of things out there being read by different managers and agents, both literary and screenplay, and I've got a number of articles out there just floating around the world. I'm not going to overly promote any of them. In fact, I'm kind of reluctant to even put the Amazon link to the book, but I think I will simply because it is the most recent thing. I think that I put that on the market like a couple weeks ago, somewhere like that. That's the thing. I do a lot of my writing at night. That's when I tend to think best in terms of writing, but it also means that I don't remember a lot of things the day after. Like there's actually been times where I'll write like a whole chapter one night, and then the next day I think, oh man, I'm so behind, I gotta write that chapter, and I open the file, I'm like, oh I already wrote it. Like that happens sometimes, because it's kind of like a blur, especially like if you actually get into it. then it's almost like it's writing itself, and you're just kind of there in like a semi-lucid state, like observing it happen. There's something very, not delirious about it, depersonalized about it. It's a strange thing. I think that's, again, I've got a video about muses / demons, and I think that's where that comes from. And a lot of it is, it doesn't feel like you're doing it once you hit a certain stride. I hear the same thing from runners. They say it's more like watching themselves run once they hit a certain stride. And I also do several things in agriculture. I'm not going to go into like real specifics about that, but mostly because it is pretty diverse, and I really enjoy that a great deal. Like I really look up to Wendell Berry as a role model, because those are the two things he does. He grows things and raises livestock. I consider that to be one activity, and he writes, and that's what I like to do as well. I like to write and grow things. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now. I guess I should keep this short anyway, as far as that goes. But yeah, that's just like a little bit about me. Yeah. And, I got one other weird dream. I love tea. Love tea. I'd love to have a tea house, or tea shop, or whatever you want to call it. I'd like to have like a little establishment that does like small food, like snack kind of food, and then a whole bunch of different kinds of teas. Chief emphasis being on Chinese teas like Gung Fu Cha ceremony and things like that. And as for the sweets, the various things, I'm thinking like scones with jam and clotted cream, because there would be Western style tea too. And then also like wagashi, like traditional azuki bean kind of treats. That'd be just something I'd really enjoy, because just the aesthetic and dealing with tea every day. I mean, I make tea literally every day. Like, if there's a day that goes by where I don't have tea, then I must be crazy busy. That's like a day where I don't even eat, because I'm either traveling like extensively, or I'm so busy that I don't have time to do literally anything else. Which that can happen, especially, I was telling you about how it's like you're watching yourself write. I remember one time I got so into writing that I didn't realize that I'd crossed my legs really tightly. And when I got up, I just plummeted to the floor. Apparently, I'd been writing so long in that position with complete unawareness of my body that there was no blood in my right leg. None. It was as white as a sheet of paper. And I couldn't feel anything. Like, none of the nerves were responding, so I just plummeted to the floor. I never really thought about that regarding, like, how if you don't have the capacity to feel your legs, you can't walk. I realized what that was all about then. Thankfully, there was no lasting damage, but it was really messed up. And I also, why didn't I promote this? This is something I should shamelessly be promoting. I also do a podcast called The 13th Floor, which I will also link below. So, yeah, that's doing a lot of stuff, obviously, with media. The YouTube channel, the podcast. Also had a article site, but I'm not going to link it right now because it's been on hold for a little while. It's a collaborative effort, is the deal. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I mean, screenplays, poems, books, nonfiction. Just if pushing keys forms words, doesn't matter what kind it is, doesn't matter what genre, I've done it, and I will continue to do it because it's the thing I enjoy most, and it's the thing I would do even if I was literally on an empty world with no other person to read it. I would still write. It's a fundamental element of my personality and the things I enjoy doing. So I hope that shed a little bit of light on me. Like, subscribe, share, etc. And ask questions. Thanks. Bye.